Hello everyone, welcome to my channel JG Edu Center. Today in this video lecture, we are going to discuss the solutions of science mock test for class 7th. This is the first part of the video wherein we are going to discuss question number 1, 2 and 3. So our first question is, in an experiment about 10 ml of sodium hydroxide solution was taken in a beaker A. To it was added a few drops of red litmus solution which turned blue. This solution was then taken in beaker B and vinegar was added to it drop by drop with continuous stirring. It was observed that the color of solution in beaker B has changed to red. This experiment shows, and after that 4 options are given to us. Now in the diagram you can see that in beaker A this is sodium hydroxide solution. Sodium hydroxide solution. Now we know that sodium hydroxide is a base. On adding few drops of red litmus solution, the color observed in beaker A is red, which is obvious as we know that bases turn red litmus into blue. Bases turn red litmus into blue. So here the base sodium hydroxide changed the color of red litmus solution to blue. Now this blue basic solution is taken in another beaker B. This is beaker B. So this blue basic solution is taken in another beaker B and vinegar is added to it with continuous stirring. Now we know vinegar is an acid. So in beaker B we are actually mixing a base and an acid. In beaker B what we are doing is mixing a base and an acid, which is called neutralization. We know neutralization means a chemical reaction in which an acid mixes with base and what is formed? Salt is formed. So in neutralization what happens is that acid and base cancels out. Acid and base cancels out or neutralizes the effect of each other and the resulting solution becomes neutral. So when vinegar is added in beaker B, this vinegar slowly neutralizes the sodium hydroxide solution. The blue color keeps fading and eventually all the sodium hydroxide is neutralized. So when vinegar is added, the vinegar being an acid is going to neutralize the base sodium hydroxide. After that, when more vinegar is added, there will be excess of vinegar in the beaker B, which changes the blue litmus solution to red. So the process involved in this experiment is neutralization. So the correct answer for this question 1 is C part, neutralization. Now next, question number 2. Observe the given figure carefully and choose the incorrect statements. So in question 2, here is the figure and after that 4 statements are given. we have to tell the incorrect statements out of these four statements. Now, this figure shows the dilution of an acid. The figure shown here represents dilution of an acid. Now, what do you mean by dilution? Dilution means adding water. If we add water to anything, that means we are diluting it. So, dilution simply means addition of water. Now, the point is, what are we diluting here in this figure? In this figure, we are diluting an acid. You can see here, it is written here, concentrated H2SO4. This H2SO4 is sulfuric acid. So, in this figure, we are diluting concentrated H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. Now, the point is, how should an acid be diluted? What are the precautions, what are the safety measures to be taken while diluting an acid? There are certain precautions to be taken while mixing a concentrated acid and water. Why? Because concentrated acids can be very harmful. They can be very hazardous. So, they should always be handled with care. Utmost care should be taken while handling concentrated acids. So, the most important precaution is that we should always add acid to water. I repeat, we should always add acid to water. Water should never be added to acid. That means we should first take some considerable amount of water in a beaker, and thereafter acid should be added slowly, drop by drop, with continuous stirring of water. We should always add acid to water. That means we should take some amount of water in a beaker, and acid should be added slowly and gently into the water with continuous stirring of water. As you can see in the figure, this is the glass rod which is used for stirring. So, dilution of acid is an exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means heat is evolved in this reaction. Large amount of heat is released in this mixing of acid and water. So, in this process, we should never add acid to water. We should never add water to acid because in that case the reaction mixture will spill out and there can be fumes coming out of the test tube, which can be harmful for the person holding that test tube or the beaker. So here if we look at the four statements, then in first statement it is written large volume of acid should be added to small volume of water slowly. So this statement is incorrect because volume of water should be large and volume of acid should be small. So the first statement is incorrect. Now, second statement says the figure represents the process of concentrating dilute sulfuric acid. This is also wrong because the figure represents the process of diluting concentrated acids. In the statement given here, it is written concentrating dilute sulfuric acid, which is wrong. The process is diluting concentrated H2SO4. That means statement 2 is also incorrect. Now, looking at third statement, the process involves release of a large amount of heat. This is correct because we have mentioned earlier that the process of mixing acid and water is an exothermic reaction. That means large amount of heat will be released in this process. So third statement is absolutely correct. Now have a look at statement 4. Water should not be stirred. This is also incorrect because water should be continuously stirred. There should be continuous stirring of water with the help of glass rod. That means statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is incorrect, and statement 4 is also incorrect. So looking at the options, the correct option will be C part. 1, 2 and 4 only are the incorrect statements. So for question 2, the answer is option C. Now, moving on to question number 3. The statement is Karthik performed the following experiment by taking few solutions and phenolphthalein indicator. Identify P, Q and R in this experiment. So here also figure is given and after that 4 options are given. In the question we have to identify P, Q and R. And as you can see in the options, we have to basically tell which out of these P, Q and R is an acid and base. So, as shown in the figure, 3 solutions are in the test tubes and phenolphthalein indicator is used. So first of all, we should know the color changes for phenolphthalein indicator. Phenolphthalein gives pink color in basic solution. Phenolphthalein gives pink color in basic solution and remains colorless in acidic solutions as well as neutral solutions. That means with basic solutions, the color given by phenolphthalein is pink, and for acidic and neutral solutions, the color remains unchanged. Phenolphthalein remains colorless in acidic and neutral solutions. Now, it is written that when phenolphthalein is added to P, when phenolphthalein is added to P solution, then it turns pink, which means that solution P is a base. Now when Q is added, the pink color disappears. That means Q is an acid. Because when an acid Q is added to this solution, it neutralizes the base and the solution becomes neutral. And we know phenolphthalein remains colorless in neutral solution. That means P solution is a base and Q solution is an acid. Now, when R is added to this colorless solution, when R is added to this colorless solution which is Q, again it becomes pink. That means R is a base. When R is added to neutral solution, phenolphthalein again turns pink in basic solution. So that means P is a base because phenolphthalein has changed to pink color. Q is an acid because This P base and Q acid has neutralized the solution and phenolphthalein becomes colorless. Now R is again a base because on adding R to the colorless solution, again pink color appears. So here we have used the color changes for phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein gives pink color in basic solution and remains colorless in acidic and neutral solutions. So the final answer is P is base, Q is acid and R is also a base. So out of the 4 options given, option B is the correct one. So in this video, we have discussed the solutions of question 1, 2 and 3. We are going to discuss the rest of the questions in the coming videos. Thank you.